Good morning and welcome to Herb Oracle Podcast, botanical divination with herbs, essences, flowers, and trees with your host, Herbal Marie. Let's start the day off pulling some oracle cards and getting a few messages. We can shoot the shiitake in a spiritual way-ish. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'll post a pic of the cards at Herb Oracle. Thanks so much for joining me. Here we go. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. Tarot Tuesday. All right, you guys. Just having a little blast of silliness hit me. I was opening up my curtains, my kids' curtains in their room, because like teenagers like to sleep until noon at least, right? And I just was like, well, I can't be letting that happen. So I like broke into my son's room to try to open up the curtain, and he like opens one eye and he's like, don't you dare. And man, anytime anyone tells me don't you dare, doesn't it just make you want to do it? So then I dove towards the curtain and he threw a dirty sock at me, but I deflected it and I made it to the curtain, but then he jumped up out of bed and, grabbed me and threw me out of the room. So in my mothering perspective, that was a win-win, because the whole point was to wake him up. And even if he did close the curtain, I got a good laugh out of it. So anyways, it's Tarot Tuesday Tarot. And we're going to do something a little different today. And I don't know if you're going to like it or not, but tough shit. Remember the other week that I said that I had a couple spreads on Tarot Spread Layout on Instagram? That's where I hoard my tarot spreads, by the way. Tarot Spread Layout. I had a couple interview spreads. When you get a new deck, you do the interview. And then I mentioned that, I think just last week, and I was like, yeah, but we're not going to do that. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, why the fuck not? Why don't you interview your deck? Well, actually, I have 3 new decks that I have in my life now. And they're not like, none of them are your standard tarot deck. Okay, so apparently I only like the weirdies, the weird ones. I don't have like a traditional classic tarot deck. Maybe someday I will get one. Like there's this shiny gold one that I saw at Raven's Moon's Oracle, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get a regular one someday. However, right now I'm learning tarot in a ass backwards kind of way. As you know, I'm going through the Herbal Tarot on Herbal Marie, and we're going through each card and learning the journey that way. So like, I just am never probably going to be standard and classic about anything that I do. And if there's a roundabout way to do something, I will do that. So I'm learning the tarot also through the Herb Crafters Tarot, which we have used religiously every Tuesday here at Ho. But today we're not, okay? Today we're not, because I'm not asking a specific question to be answered by a deck. I'm going to be asking the deck questions about itself. So if you have a deck that it's one either new or maybe one that like you really haven't connected with, and you'd like to let's properly introduce ourselves to each other, kind of that feeling. Or you could do this with any oracle deck. I know it's Tuesday and we gotta do tarot, but I'm just saying these questions could be used for any new deck that you want to connect with. Okay, so the one thing I love to do with my decks is have conversations with them, like by pulling cards, and then I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then I'll pull another one, and right? So I love this idea of having like an interview with a deck, and I've never really done that per se. Like I usually just start shuffling and get my first message and start talking right away without interviewing. But I should probably be open to the idea of more interviews in my life. Now that I'm officially single, you guys, I declare to the universe that I am ready to release the old and step into my new space, because just real quick on a side note, this full moon really showed me how many like womb and uterus and heart cords I have to the men of my past. And, you know, I've basically, what I've been doing, Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka, told me this, is I've been holding on to what doesn't want to be with me, to what is not a vibrational match to me. And I'm like, dang, like I really, oh my God, like I've been holding on to this and I've been allowing them to hold on to me, and we're not vibrational matches, but yet here we are, our humanness holds on to each other. So I need to release and let go. All right, good. Well, what comes then after that? After you let something out, you make way to let something in. So from now on, I really need to get more in the interviewer mode. So that's another reason why I love the idea of doing this today, because I don't just want to take whatever floats my way, right? Do I really want to have another mismatched experience? Do I really want to like do that again and again and again? Or like, could I maybe start to be more selective in my life? Right. So I love that idea too for myself personally. So this is what we're going to do today. I have 3 decks. I'll try to get to them all if I can, if I'm allowed here. And I found there's a couple interview spreads on Tarot Spread Layout, but the one we're going to do this morning, today, tonight, whenever you listen to this, I love you. We're going to do this from Cosmic Crow Tarot. So her Instagram, it's cosmic_crow_tarot. Cosmic Crow Tarot. So anyways, Amanda, we're going to use your layout today. She's an oracle. She's an astrologer. She's into numbers. I'm just on her page right now. I like numbers too, honey. I like numbers too. And she has 4 questions for us to ask our deck. This is called Tarot Deck Interview. So it's like a square, okay? 1, 2 are on the top, and 3, 4 are at the bottom. And it's 4 simple questions. So I'm thinking that I could probably do all 3 of my new decks. Here's the questions, and then I'll tell you what my decks are. So here's what Cosmic Crow Tarot has for us. Number 1, why was I called to have you in my life? Why was I called to have you in my life? Now, I kind of already did this with one of them, and I was really like blown away, like what it told me. Like I didn't have this layout. I just was like remembering this layout and trying to remember it and do it the other night. And, you know, it really let me know, like, you know, it's here to help me with emotional mastery. And I was like, oh my God, that's when I was sold. I was like, I have to complete this interview. So here's the other questions that we're going to ask it. First, we're going to ask, why was I called to have you in my life? You know, because that's why you buy a deck, because you're called to it. But do you always know why? Because sometimes I buy decks and I'm like, I don't even know why I bought this deck. Like you get home and you're like, or you get it in the mail and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? And then you get to know the deck, and it really does have something to teach you. Like, that's so important. But why not just ask right away? Like, let's quit beating around the bush. Like, if you're going to know me, get to know me, honey. We're talking to our decks now. If you're going to get to know me, honey, then tell me, why was I called to have you in my life? Like, let my higher self speak to me through this deck and tell me why was I called to have you in my life. Now, we want to get to know the deck better. So our next question is, what are your strengths? I'm so slurry lately. What are your strengths? Okay. And then the next question is going to be, what are your weaknesses? And then the last question is, what are you here to teach me? So that's kind of like, you know, like maybe like, why was I called to have you in my life? That might indicate like what our shortcoming is, right? And then we're like, all right, well, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then we're going to end with, all right, looking forward now, What are you here to teach me? So I don't know, like take it or leave it, right? Like it's something that you can do with a deck to try to get to know the deck a little bit better, see why you wanted this deck or why you were called or needed to have this deck, or what this deck is going to do for you. What are you going to teach me? I'm really curious, like this, like asking the deck, like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? I think that will be kind of interesting. And also it's going to be interesting because these are really 3 different decks that I have brought into my life. So let me tell you about my new decks. The first one is the Tarot of the Secret Forest. I mentioned this deck yesterday to you. It's awesome because it's like this wild, overgrown, enchanted forest with fairies and scary things. Here's what I want to tell you about that's cool about this deck. A lot of times when I get a deck, I look at every single card, like to know what's in the deck. Well, I started to do that with this deck, and then all of a sudden I couldn't go forward because the deck was telling me this is a secret forest and you can't know everything that's in this forest, and you don't want to know everything that's in this forest. And part of the magic of a secret forest is being surprised, stumbling upon something that you didn't know was here, right? It's not neat and tidy. We are messy and unruly and wild, and we are not something for you to master. This is something for you to explore and not know what's around every nook and cranny and twist and turn. And it'll be different all the time because you let us be. And I was like, shit. And so I was like, fine, like I won't look at all the cards. So I guess that's just the way it is. So that's the first one. This is also the deck that I told you the other day. That's very vague. You almost have to be like an oracle reader to appreciate this deck. And it's the same, pretty similar picture on both sides of the card. One's in color, one's in a black and white sketch, which to me, the black and white it's not just like a sketch. They're powerful. They're intense. It feels different than the color side. Sometimes it is a different layout. Like it's not just like a color copy in a black and white print. No, like they're the same picture drawn twice. So the artist has a different spin on it. Sometimes the people look different. Sometimes they feel different. Sometimes it seems nice and sometimes it seems scary or just more emotional or intense. Like there is a different feel to each side. So it's going to, depending on what side comes through, it'll change the reading. It'll change your perspective. I fucking love this deck, you guys. It's Tarot of the Secret Forest. And it's made in Italy. Lo Scarabeo. You see that? Lo Scarabeo. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Cara. That's my mom's name, Cara. Scarabeo. Lo Scarabeo. Anyways, sorry to shame my Sicilian ancestors with my word. Lucia Motolia. Hey, my dog can go lay down. Anyways, Lucia, you did an amazing job. There's really no guidebook in this. It's like a little guide pamphlet that's only 4 pages in English because it includes 6 other languages. So I can use it just for like a couple quick keywords, but this is not the deck that comes with a guidebook to hold your hand. Like you are figuring yourself out with this deck and you are laying down. Oh my God. So yesterday, just as another side note, I literally vacuumed for over an hour and have decided that all beasts should live in barns. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. I'm snapping at you. Go lay down. You too. Go lay down. Yeah, I feel like beasts should live in barns. So much hair. Half of it was mine, so therefore I am a beast. Therefore, oh, surprise, surprise, you'll be out in the barn too. But my house is filthy. All right, so this is the first deck. Now, the second deck is Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And this is not a normal deck. I mean, she just has symbols on the cards, so it's like a lot of times you have to look up if you're not familiar with the numbers of tarot. Like it's just like, so both of these I'm like, way to challenge yourself, honey. You know. But I love this. This is why I bought it. The philosophy of the Dreams of Gaia Tarot is simple: to seek, to feel, to grow, to heal. This deck will strengthen your connection to your divine self while helping you to identify and heal past experiences that hold you back from living to your fullest potential. So obviously I related. So we'll do that one second and see what it says. If you want to hang out, if not, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you next week. And then the last one is the I Ching Wisdom, and their website, which I did not look up, I'll have to look it up. It says iching-tarot.com. And this is not really traditional. This is considered, they call it a tarot deck, but it has like, you know, really nothing like our other, it doesn't have like the tarot story that we do, but I thought, fuck it, I'm still gonna do it. So anyways, you guys, welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Tarot Tuesday here at Ho. Our herb of the week is nettles. I absolutely adore the affirmations that came through. So I hope that you wrote them down in your journal or went to the Patreon page and printed them out. You know, it's just really good. They're always good. This is our 35th herb of the week. They've always been good. Truly. But this one feels really, really good. So anyways, let's just take a minute, get ourselves a cup of tea. I'm drinking vanilla chamomile with extra honey. And let's just hang out close, but not too close, to our herb of the week, nettle. This affirmation minute is brought to you by our cautioning herb of the week, nettle, and I dedicate them all to you. I pay attention. Energy flows where my focus goes. I remain present in the now moment. I receive gifts from the earth. I allow myself to be nourished. Rewards and opportunities arise from every experience. I pay attention. Energy flows where my focus goes. I remain present in the now moment. I receive gifts from the earth. I allow myself to be nourished. Rewards and opportunities arise from every experience. So be it. All right, so thank you, Nettle. The length of that segment was 1 minute and 11 seconds long. The length of the video that I posted this morning from the Arcturian Council channel by Daniel Scranton was 4 minutes and 44 seconds long. I just walked past the kitchen clock. It said 10:10. So numbers have been like completely just loving me up this week. Like my odometer in the car, the one day I look down, I see 111666. Okay, and so I snapped a picture and sent it to my son because I knew he'd think that's funny. Well, then the last time that I drove the car, something was like, look down. And I look down, I see 111777. And I was like, you are fucking hilarious. So I'm like curious to see if I'm going to eventually see 111888. And then I'll just laugh and tell you about it. So I do love numbers, and I also am kind of understanding that this is probably going to be a lot doing 3 different decks, but hey, I could try to make it quick. I always feel like everyone's in a hurry. Are you in a hurry to go? Are you in a hurry? So This deck is awesome. The little guidebook is getting so crunched. I should just rip off all the other languages. It would make more sense with the box too, you know? like I don't really need Spanish and I need English. Yeah, like, I mean, I love it because that means they're sending it out to the world. There's only 5 languages: English, Italian, Spanish, French, and Dutch. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as like English goes, I said 5. That was a little bit of a under exaggeration. 14. There's 14 pages. So I could literally just rip that off and get rid of the rest, because I'm probably never going to read in another language. I'm like foreign language dumb, like learning disabled. Like, I just cannot seem, not that people with learning disabilities are dumb, I'm just saying me. Like, I try hard and I still can't. I can read it better than I can speak it, but I can't understand it, hearing it hardly. Yeah. Anyways, shut up, Sadie, and shuffle your cards. Okay. All right. Cosmic Crow, thank you for this interview. Yeah, there's a couple other ones that I have that I found too that were good, and I hoarded them on Tarot Spread Layout as well. All right, so I'm trying not... Okay, here's the thing with this deck. Because it's like there is no backside to these decks. So it's like if I look at the deck, I feel like I'm cheating. And I like to shuffle that I see the backs. And a lot of times when I'm shuffling, my eyes are closed. So a lot of times I just... So it's not a big deal for me not to look, because I have my eyes closed like 78% of the time while I'm even recording this podcast. I'm like sitting here like a weirdo with my eyes closed, but that's how I bring in messages from my higher self. Like, you hear me when I talk just my human self. I'm dumb. I really don't have much to say, right? It's only when I get into that good space that I start to sound a little smarter and wiser and bring in things that I need to hear too. So anyways, my point is, I gotta not look if I'm gonna keep it feeling like I didn't manipulate the cards, you know? With that said, you know, the Shuffle Tarot lady, Nina, that I love so much on YouTube, and she's on Instagram, when she shuffles, like, you can see the pictures the way she has the camera, and that's always so different for me because I do it opposite. So anyways, it's just so interesting, and I keep thinking to myself, I won't be surprised when you try it, because you love Shuffle Tarot. You love Nina. So you might try her ways someday, Sadie. All right, let's quit dicking around here. We got 4 questions. Do you have a deck? Do you have a cup of tea? Are you gonna shuffle with me? So you get your deck, you shuffle it up until you feel like it's mixed and good and shuffled. Good and shuffled. And then we're going to ask the deck 4 questions. And see what's up. And now it does get a little tricky with this deck too, because it's like, which side? Is it the side that I see first that is my side? That's how I've been doing it. Like, I don't normally like flip over, like I don't know, it's just weird. This deck is going to challenge me and talk to me, and it's already been talking to me, so I'm excited to get to know this deck better. Why was I called to have you in my life? Because, you know, it was shrink wrapped in the shop at Raven's Moon in DuBois, Pennsylvania. So on the front of the box, there is a topless fairy, but it's a real, like, I was like, you're not like, I like the artwork. Like, if things are too realistic, sometimes I don't like them. Or I don't know, like, I'm really particular about the way people look in the cards. A lot of times I don't even like people in the cards. So I was like, I looked, she's on the one side, I like her, okay? Like, even though she's topless, it's nothing to like porn star or nothing like that. How some of these decks are starting to look like, I'm just not into the art at all. And so I was like, well, I like you, and I like her for her feather. She has like 4 wings, you know, and I was like, you're cool. You're kind of cool. Like, you know, she's old fashioned looking and kind of, but it's muted colors, you know, and on the back there's like a path with butterflies, but it's really muted, and it's really just green and brown. And so there was nothing flashy or special about this deck to visual, and I had never seen it before. I'd never, like, sometimes when I'm in the shop, I'm like, I have a temptation to open up YouTube and watch a flip through real quick, you know, like, because that's what I do when I'm deliberately buying decks. This was an intuitive purchase, so I had to just go with it. So, why was I called to have you in my life? Why was I called? Why was my intuition being like, get that? Why was I called to have you in my life? Ooh. Okay, we got the Ace of Swords, and I got the black and white side. Now, this creature has shown itself to me already once, and it's a painful looking creature. You don't want it. Now, it is not as scary on the colored side, but that's not the side that has shown itself to me. It is the black and white side. It has a number 1 at the top and a sword at the bottom. So it's the Ace of Swords. And the question is, why was I called to have you in my life? Now, I am going to refer to my 14-page pamphlet. Oh, it's 14 pages of good stuff. I'm just saying, it's short and to the point. All right. Number 1 of the swords, Ace of Swords, says mind. Why was I called to have you in my life? Mind. Controlled emotions, resorting to logic. So that's why I was called to have you in my life, because I am resorting to logic. Ugh. How embarrassing. I can't believe I've been doing this. Controlled emotions, resorting to logic. See, I'm an emotional being, so I feel like that's not good for me. It's good for me to have some logic, obviously, but if I'm resorting to logic, if my emotions are too controlled, like this is a scary insect. Like, its tail is a fucking dagger. This would be one that you would put on a very big boot to squish. Like, you don't want to get stung by this. So anyways, why was I called to have you in my life? Something to do with my mind. Maybe because I have been closed down emotionally. Like, I've been trying to control my emotions, and it's really not helping my heart or my mind by doing that. And embarrassingly enough, I've been resorting to logic. Ugh. All right, let's get to know the deck. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? What are your strengths? What are your strengths? And interestingly enough, I get another black and white card, and it is a reversed King of Wands. Well, that's interesting to get a reversed card for strengths. Okay. Yeah, is that a king? See, it does not have hold on, let me look at this a little bit better. Yeah, that's the king. It is only symbols, you guys. King of Wands. All right. He came in upside down though. Let me just read from the book. What are your strengths? Someone who knows how to respect even those who are less important. So this deck is telling me that it's going to respect me even though I'm less important. What? What are your strengths? Okay, it's going to be a respectful deck. Even maybe when I'm coming at it with stupid ass questions, or, You know, it's going to be very, very respectful. Not sure why he came upside down. I think I know why. Okay, so I flip him up just to get the upright view, and he is looking down at something. Now, when he is reversed, he doesn't seem as condescending in the artwork. And he looks kind of cuter a little bit, and less like upright. You don't know if those are bunny ears or a llama on his head or something like antlerish or rough looking. Flip him upside down, he seems more like a bunny rabbit. Definitely less condescending. So I feel like this deck is going to be respectful, and it's going to maybe work with me. Like if it does need to soften, it's still going to be direct, you know. But it's definitely going to be a respectful deck. Okay, so that's going to be its strengths. All right, the Tarot of the Secret Forest. What are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses? Asking the deck, a tarot deck interview. What are your weaknesses? Okay. Fell on the floor. Ouch. It's also a black and white card. It's the Eight of Swords. It's a woman holding spiky brambles. The Eight of Swords is the weaknesses: danger, caution, self-control. So I asked this deck, what are your weaknesses? Danger, caution, self-control. Now, this is maybe the most magical deck I've ever held in my hands. Like, if a deck itself could be enchanted and have a consciousness of its own, it is this deck. Like, truly. So, Tarot of the Secret Forest really did, like, the very first time I put the cards in my hands, I really was like, oh wow, this deck thinks itself. And I've never really thought that about a deck before. So the weaknesses of the deck is that it could be dangerous, maybe. I don't know, man. That's what it says. It's the Eight of Swords. Danger, caution, self-control. Will the deck know when to quit? Will I know when to quit? Will I get lost in this deck and not decide to live in reality anymore because I'll just want to sit in the corner and shuffle cards for the rest of my days talking to this deck? I feel like this deck could get into my head, but that's awesome because that means it is going to help me if I can figure out how to work with it, not be afraid of it, and see this. Interesting. It's so interesting to look at both sides of the cards because, see, I've gotten all black and white cards. So this to me says this deck is going to be intense. It is going to be intense for me because, like, when I flip over the Eight of Swords, there's the woman who's maybe has the decision to turn around from this spiky, bramble, thorny, gonna cut you all up if you walk through here thicket, right? She's still, like, she can decide. She could turn around. Now, the black and white version, it doesn't look like she has a choice. It looks like she's already being held in it. Like, it seems like she's almost being elevated, held up in the air, like she's dangling in the thicket. It has a completely different vibe on the black and white side. So what are your weaknesses of this deck? What are the deck's weaknesses? Maybe it really is going to be too intense. It could be too intense. It could be, yeah, caution. Watch don't take this deck for granted. Maybe the intensity could be its biggest weakness, but I think that's good. But it's maybe just trying to warn me, because I am a little lighted fairy most of the time, and it's like, are you really ready? Like it said, why was I called to have you in my life? And it came in with the Ace of Swords, the mind. Are you really ready for this? I mean, that's why I was called into your life, because we have to really see into your mind now and see where you are being trapped in the thicket, you know, and see how you can maybe get through it, escape, turn around, avoid it. It's going to be this is an intense deck. I really love it. I really love it. And the strengths were the King of Wands. The King of Wands, you know, this is going to be respectful. The deck will be respectful to me, which means it's going to be very honest. All right, last one for this. Whoa, I'm going to shuffle it just to. It's my new favorite word. J-U-S-T-A-H. Justa. All right, so what are you here to teach me, Tarot of the Secret Forest? I feel like we've already seen a lot what you could be here to teach me. So, I mean, with these 3 intense cards, but on top of that, what else are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? Oh, it really had this trepidation to it, like me. And I look down. What are you here to teach me? The Queen of Chalices. Now, it is in color. It is in color. Interesting. I'm going to put this deck over here. Thank you. 3 black and white cards leading up to this beautiful queen. She's naked. You can see her butt and a little bit of side boob, but it's very classy and a fairy, like she's in the water. So the Queen of Chalices says, someone who knows how to look inward and into others. This makes me so happy and gives me tingles and chills. The other day, you know, I've been sitting with Baba Yaga, and it's like everyone that I look at, she says, and everyone who looks at me too, it's like we are covered in mirrors for each other, right? So when people look at me, they get a reflection for themselves, and when I look at them, they are a reflection for myself. And what she was saying was, I don't just want someone that's pretty to look at or gives me what I think I want. Like, I want to be with someone that I can look into. So on a very personal level, it makes me happy because I really liked that idea. I was like, yeah, I don't just want some handsome man to look at, although that would be nice, okay? I want someone that I can look into, that actually has something in there that I want to see. So I love that. But then, you know, in my own light work life, you know, what a beautiful gift and skill that will be to learn how to look more into other people and how to look more inward into myself. So the question for the final question of the tarot deck interview for the Tarot of the Secret Forest is, what are you here to teach me? How to look inward and into others. Ooh, but yeah. And it's gonna require me kind of going into the scary parts of the forest, of the secret forest, for me to get to know myself, get to know my darkness, get to know what brambles and thorny thickets have me in their hold, and look into myself. and then being able to look into others. Wow, you guys, this was crazy. So the Tarot of the Secret Forest, there is its deck interview. See why I'm so excited about this deck. See why I'm keeping this deck. Like, I almost want to wear it on my body. I feel so blessed to have gotten this deck at Raven's Moon shop in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Look her up. She's online. She's got an Instagram. And wow, this is what I was kind of looking for, you know, because like, yeah, like I love the fairy realm. I've read some fairy books. I have some fairies in my deck, and I have, you know, but this is like real fairy energy, real magical forest energy, real secret forest energy. This is like not just happy, like la-di-da. No, this is like actually like relatable and magical, you guys. I've never felt this on a deck before. Like, this will probably be a deck that I will sew a pouch for and wrap in fabric. And I don't normally ever do that. I have one other deck that I do that with. So anyways, wow. Yeah, we'll file that under holy crap, won't we? Just file that under holy crap. All right, so the next deck that we're going to get to know today, because we're doing tarot deck interviews today at Ho, is Dreams of Gaia Tarot by Raven Felon. And I have her Oracle, Messenger Oracle. I love her artwork. I love her too, because like I can relate to her, like her like little bio in the back is like basically like, I don't even know why I'm writing this bio, because like tomorrow I know I'm going to be a different person, and you know, and I feel that way too. Like, we're always constantly changing. Like, how can you commit to being a certain way when you know that you're just going to change it in a second? You know? So I learned like right away to not like feel like some people can't handle that, and they'll like go back and they'll delete old videos, and they're like, that's not who I am anymore. Well, I got over that right away, because I just leave everything, even if it's embarrassing, even if it's unflattering, even if it's not who I am anymore. I leave everything, because it's like, well, I was that in that moment, so it was true for that moment. We're constantly changing and shifting and expanding. And so, yeah, don't ever put yourself in a box. And I really was relating to what she was saying. So, anywho's, we are who we are. We are who we are. And yeah, we're not stagnant. We're always changing, and all that in a bag of organic chips. I need to get some potato chips, you guys. Like, I'm trying to eat fairly good, but it's like, man, I just survived a full moon. Can I get some fucking potato chips up in here? Ooh, and what else? I haven't been eating very much at all. Like yesterday, I really wanted a burger, like meat. I know, that was weird for me. And so I made myself a burger, ate half of it, was totally full. So my son ate the rest, because he can eat neat. But yes, interesting that like I'm not hardly eating very much, but just what I need or want. But then like I'll make a whole big something to eat, and don't even get halfway through it, and I'm like, okay, and I'm stuffed. All right, ready? Are we ready? Are we ready for this? So this is Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and it has a nice guidebook, whereas the other one had 14 pages. This one has like over 300. It's a little fat book. I love it. And I love it. It's a little fat one, and I love it. All right. Why was I called to have you in my life? Now, this is a good question for me. Like, I want to ask it because, so I went in there. This was the first day in the last week that I've visited Raven. And Yeah, the lady that owns the shop is Raven, and now a Raven. This is double Raven. The maker of this Oracle deck is Raven as well. And I was thinking I was going to get the Everyday Witch Tarot. Because I thought, well, that's kind of cute, maybe fun. But here's the thing about the witchy stuff. I really hate to be clumped in any type of group. And sometimes I just feel like things are too stereotypical. And so that's like always what turns me off about everything. It just, I feel, as soon as I feel the box starting to be built, whether it's around me or in my own head, I set the box on fire. Like as soon as I feel that, I don't like it, you know? And yeah, so not that I wouldn't have that deck and play with that deck, but like I was looking at the artwork and I was just sort of feeling like, I don't know if this deck is going to take me where I need to go. Like I'm at that place where like I need decks that take me into places that I've never been. And so then I picked this one, maybe because it was familiar, maybe because I liked the artwork, maybe because it was a very big box. I love the big hunky box, and it was like, I loved it. So, but, you know, I know that like a lot of the decks that I need are gonna be weirdies, you know, so I'm curious. Wow, like now this one, I've read in the guidebook, it's an enjoyable deck, but I don't know if this deck is gonna like tell me anything I don't already know. But the other thing that I think about this deck, quite possibly, you know how I was saying that a lot of times I don't like people in my deck? These are all people. All of them, pretty much. And some dragons. They're all people that I could get to know, characters. So I feel like maybe as far as character development or just getting to have friends or know in like it might be fun for me in that regard. But anyways, that's all I can think of for this, for myself, for my small mind. So let's connect into my higher mind and the energy of the deck. Come on in. I have people around me today because I told them they were allowed to come down and mingle. So anyways, why was I called to have you in my life? I could ask everyone around me that question too. Why was I called to have you in my life? Because I love you. And everything is about love, and everything is about expanding and learning and having fun, maybe. All right, so let's shuffle this. Why was I called to have you in my life? Why? Talking to the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck now. Why was I called? Because I was called. I couldn't put you down. You were the one that I was holding on to as I picked up 20 other decks. Why was I called to have you in my life? All right, I have a card coming out from the middle on its side. Ooh, I love him. Why was I called to have you in my life? Now, her too, you guys, she only has the triangle symbols for the suits. And her suits, hold on, let me figure out what I'm even looking at right now. Her suits are air, fire, earth, and water. Okay, so what I'm looking at now is a downward triangle, no line, okay? And so that is water? No. Yeah, it's water. Okay. I got to get to know my triangle symbols, you guys. I have never really memorized them. Okay, this is the 8 of water because it's a downward triangle. So yeah, like this will teach me my triangles for sure. It's this beautiful long-haired man. I think he's a man. He's either a beautiful, beautiful man or super duper masculine woman, but it's a man, I think. He's gorgeous. He's fun. He is smiling so freaking big, and then his robe is you can see his skin and you can see his chakras. So he's got the line of chakras. He's got a big smile. His palms are out with his light hands. His body seems solid. His hands are light body. and they've got spirals and twinkly. Ooh, there's 2 dolphins on either side of him in the background, and a full moon and a starry sky, and he's smiling, and his hair is more fabulous than mine, and it's this like squiggling, these black lighted snaky streaks everywhere. So it's like almost like, you know, because he's water, like how your hair looks in the water. Why was I called to have you in my life? I get the 8 of water. The key words to answer that question is gratitude, appreciation, delight, joyfulness, happiness, positivity, pride, and harmony. Oh, so that's why I couldn't put a finger on it. Like, I literally was just called for this deck because, yeah, I like the artwork. It might be fun. Characters for me to appreciate. Maybe some joy. Maybe just to have a deck to delight in. See, I'm so business all the time. Like, sometimes I just forget, like, oh, you're just going to have that because it's beautiful. And you love it. And it'll be positive. And will help you feel more harmony. So why was I called to have you in my life? Just to have something to appreciate, right? And to create more positivity and to cherish what you have. And then it also says here in the key phrases, ooh, this is interesting. If you were already unhappy, more will not make you happier. So after I bought this deck, I really wasn't satisfied. That's why I went back for three more. Because this deck was showing me, you bought the most fabulous, probably the most expensive deck that was on the table that she had available. And because you were looking for something outside of yourself to make you happy, it's even this beautiful, gorgeous deck didn't quite do it for you, because happiness is an inside job. So you need to focus on all that is good in your life. And question, it literally says this, question an unnecessary desire for more. I already have dozens and dozens of decks. Why do I feel like I want more, need more? Because I'm not in that attitude of gratitude. So why was I called to have you in my life? To show me these things, to make me laugh, right? To make me understand these things, but then appreciate you while appreciating everything I've been blessed with in my life. Get more into delight, joyfulness, happiness, appreciation, gratitude, positivity, pride, harmony. But it was through this big purchase that didn't quite make me feel complete, right? Because an oracle deck, tarot deck, will never make you feel complete if you are already feeling incomplete and unhappy and negative. You can't buy your way into happiness. Hey, I try. And then you do have nice decks to play with. But it's like, listen, it's much better to just be happy. And then be happy with like everything and anything. And yeah. Because see, when I went back to like buy, I went back, right? And I was like, well, I'm going to go get something more. And I was starting to feel better. I was crawling out of my deep, dark hole from the full moon. And then, yeah, like you can have different experiences when you're in a different state of mind. Ooh, so why was I called to have you in my life? To get me into gratitude, appreciation, maybe by showing me where I'm not, but get into that happiness, inner happiness, joyfulness, positivity, pride. And the 8 of water symbolizes how a positive state of appreciation and gratitude can influence our lives and environment for the better. So yeah, that's why this deck is here, to try to relearn, remember me into that joyful place. And if I come at this deck, I guess, with knowing that's why it's here, that's what it's for, I got this big old hunky box so that, you know, I can really be reminded to appreciate everything in my life. And now look at him. sharing his light in his hands. Look at him smiling so big. Happy, happy, happy. His chakras are in alignment. And above him is his, I guess, higher self or crown chakra. I'll have to figure out what those symbols are around it. Very interesting. He's very much in the giving and receiving, but giving, because that's what we do. As we give, we receive. So this tells me that I was kind of like, I don't know what this deck is going to teach me, but actually it's going to teach me very, very important things. Because if I could be this guy, the way he's feeling and beaming and radiating, he has dolphins behind him. That means he is in alignment. He is fun. He is non-resistant. He is connecting with the higher beings. He's connecting. Dolphins are not even from this planet, right? They're so amazing. And if you can connect with dolphin consciousness, you are definitely in alignment with your higher self. So I love that he does have the full moon behind him. This deck was purchased during my full moon-ness, and I feel like I understand on some level greater now why it's here. All right, so let's get to know this deck. What are your strengths? So the second question now is, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Dreams of Gaia. What are your strengths? Whoa. Okay. I was like, wow, what energy wants to come out that split the deck? It is the crone. Okay, so what are your strengths? It's this beautiful, young-looking, but, powerful woman with silver streak in her dark flowing hair. The crone, and there she has either a raven or a crow above her, not on her shoulder, but on a branch, which even just this morning over at Herbal Marie, I did a Shoot the Shiitake podcast, and it's like the second time I've said out loud how I want to bring in the crows into my yard. I would love to have a crow that liked to be on my arm, or even in a tree, or even in my yard, or just near me. I need a big black bird in my life. Okay, so this answers the question, though. I'm asking the deck. I'm doing an interview to the deck. We've got number 6, the crone, to answer the question, what are your strengths? She says her strengths, the deck's strengths are feminine power, fearlessness, authenticity, individuality, which is what Nettle was talking about yesterday, independence, new purpose, freedom, shadow self. So those are going to be the strengths of the deck. Big feminine power energy coming in. She is fearless. Like my mom, I'm always like, how are you not afraid of anything? It's just that crone energy, fearless, can walk in the secret woods at night, total fearlessness, total independence. But yeah, there's also an energy of new purpose and freedom. So the strengths of this deck is feminine power, and freedom, and it even has shadow self there too, but authenticity. But the strength of the Dreams of Gaia Tarot is feminine power. Okay, now Dreams of Gaia. What are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses? Interviewing the deck. What are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses? Okay. It's a whole clump at once. Literally 5 cards want to come off the bottom. So I'm going to go with the bottom card. But that's interesting that it's saying to me, well, I have many weaknesses, right? I have many weaknesses. Now, on the bottom is a reversed death card. Death in reverse, number 8. Okay, very interesting. So, the weaknesses of the deck, it's saying we all have lots of weaknesses. So, that's good. But the weakness is the death card. Endings, beginnings, cycles, transformation, transmutation, change, growth. So, what are your weaknesses? Death and rebirth. So, will it help me move on to that next level? I don't know. Why was I called to this deck though? For happiness, joy, and appreciation, and all those good vibes, the chakras, right? So in a way, I like that the death card is going to be the weakness of this deck, because that means I'm going to really enjoy this deck. Like, whereas when we interviewed the secret forest, it's like it's like warning me, like, danger, be careful. This one's saying the weakness is the death and rebirth. So maybe it's not going to catapult me into any like grandiose revelation, ending of the old self, beginning of the new self, like, but that's not the point of the deck. So that's okay. So anyways, very interesting that the weaknesses, and it's weird to ask somebody, and it's weird to talk to a deck, I know too, but even to ask anybody, well, what are your weaknesses? Nobody wants to admit that normally. Now 5 cards try to come out at once. So that to me says that the Dreams of Gaia is an honest deck. It was saying weaknesses, I have many, here's a whole handful, you know. But it's saying that maybe this isn't going to be the deck that changes me, but that's okay, because you're going to actually maybe just love and enjoy this deck instead. Interesting. Are you so curious what else was on the bottom? We have, is that fire? That's the upright triangle. We have the 2 of fire. We have another lady that keeps showing herself to me. The 10, I think, of earth. Hold on, what is the downward triangle with the line? Yeah, earth. The 10 of earth, she keeps showing me with her mask that she takes off. That's also on the bottom. There was 4 of air, which is a very logical dude, also on the bottom, and 3 of water was also in that stack that wanted to come out. So anyways, very interesting. I'm just amazed that, like, it's so honest and with me and showing me some things that, you know, it might not be able to help me with. It might be the weaknesses, not that it's not completely incompetent, but just maybe the weaknesses of the deck. I've never done this with a deck before, so that is super interesting. Okay, now, what are you here to teach me? I guess I'll leave those cards in there. They deserve to still be in there. Let's see. What are you here to teach me then? So, of course, this is probably, you know, goes along with why was I called to have you in my life. But just from a very open place for this tarot deck interview. Shout out to Cosmic Crow Tarot again. This is good. Dreams of Gaia. What are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach? What are you going to teach me? Because if we hang out, I'm pretty sure you're going to teach me something, and this is coming up from the last chunk of the deck, but I love it when cards shimmy their way up, and I sort of like shimmy, jack them up out of the deck, and it is the Queen of Fire. Woo! Wow. Now, what's interesting is, for our last interview, we also ended with a queen, I just want to notice that for myself. And this is the Queen of Fire. She is beautiful. Sun goddess. I love her. Well, if you're familiar with Raven Felon's artwork, she's got like the feathers coming out of her cheekbones. You know, she's gorgeous. She's got like blue, solid blue, iridescent blue eyes. She has a lighted sun above her, just like the first card does. He has a eye open above his head. His higher self is here. What are you here to teach me? I get the Queen of Fire. She has a kitty cat and above her, a lot of cat energy. What are you here to teach me? Besides what the upward triangle means fire. Queen, besides my elemental triangles, she's going to teach me warm, vibrant, sexual, sensual, independence, primal, expansive, energetic energies and lessons. Wow. So this deck really is going to be a fun deck, a personal deck, a deck, like I was saying, like these people I could get to know. Like this is maybe Dreams of Gaia are the friends that I've been waiting for, like to hang out with, and people to get to know, characters to get to know, energies to get to know. Like they really do all seem like their own individuals when you look at these cards. And it's good to have some decks in your life that like you really know them. Like you know these people. And that is how you can get messages, because they start talking to you. So this is a beautiful deck. And I love beautiful people, and I love it. So the Queen of Fire says this deck is here to teach you some warmth, you cold-hearted bitch. Right? This deck is here to get you vibrant and sensual and independent. So we have the crone up there too. Just so much independence. That's the strength of this deck. So of course the deck is going to teach me its strong points, right? Expansive, energetic. We got the 8 of Water, who is saying that's why you were called to this deck, because happiness and joy is where you want to be. Yes, it'll be wonderful when you have shelves and upon shelves of beautiful decks. But you know what? What you want even more than that is the feeling of joyfulness in your body, you know? And so I find it interesting too, that like I'm starting to really just be called towards lesson. Like the more and more decks I get, the less and less like maybe I'm getting my special decks, you know, like the ones that if I became a traveling gypsy in my crone years and I could only take 3 decks with me, like which 3 would that be? You know, and I'm starting to know the ones that I really love and that really love me and really guide me and are, you know, kind of an extension of me in a way. So that's very interesting. But yeah, what is this deck gonna teach me? Yeah, fire, warmth, vibrancy, tapping into that sensual, sexual energy, even in an independent way, right? A primal, expansive, energetic, really lighting me up maybe to myself. She also says this deck is going to help you to be optimistic and enthusiastic. Engage and stimulate all of your senses and give your full attention. Maybe this deck will help me become even more focused and intuitive and confident, and teach me how to take pleasure in life and to not second guess yourself. She ends by saying the Dreams of Gaia Tarot is here to teach you to hold your head up high and avoid petty behavior. Yay, it's 11:11. All right, so this is awesome, you guys. I didn't realize I was going to enjoy this. I mean, I enjoy everything. I really do. But this is cooler than I thought. For me, anyways. how's it going on your end? So anyways, that was the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Wow. See, these guys really are characters, because like I almost like don't even want to take them off the table, but I am. I'm gonna put it away. Put it away. Put it away. Put it away now. Now this is such an awesome box. Oh my gosh! And the book fits right on top. What a hunky tarot deck. Absolutely. All right, now, do you have time for one more? You want to hang out? I have to do the I Ching Wisdom card deck now, and because this has been so interesting. Like, I almost want to do it with all my decks now. Like, oh my God, you guys have been holding out on me. You can talk to me like this. Now, this comes in a box, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I might need like a string around the cards, because like it doesn't really hold them in place as much. Like they kind of shift around, you know. It comes with a little book, which is good because it's the I Ching. And if it didn't have a guidebook, I wouldn't know what the heck was going on. Now, the I Ching, it's like older than 5,000 years. Like it's like Chinese divination, and it's usually, I think, like runes, isn't it, or sticks? I actually have no idea anything about this. I don't even know why I wanted to buy it. You know, I was at the bookstore. This one was at the mall. Is 20% off. So I had enough money to get it. I was like, cool. And it's cards. It was the only cards there. So I guess that's why I got it. But it still looked cool because, like, I remember there being an I Ching book at my mom's house, and you open it up and it don't make no sense at all. Now that I have this, maybe I'll read that book. Maybe, if my mom still has it. And the artwork is like cartoony and funny, and it's like easily relatable. So I was like, all right, like I'll get it. Like maybe, what the heck? I'll learn something. That's what I need at night when I'm in bed all by myself, not having my phone because Jesus told me to turn it off. When I'm losing my goddamn mind up in my bed crying myself to sleep, I could learn something. All right, so anyways, that's what I was thinking, buy the deck, you know. So I was like, all right, cool. So I've read a little bit of the book. It's super user friendly. So, oh my gosh, like, what was the website that I didn't ever check out? We'll see if it's iching-tarot.com. And it's published by Billion Land Enterprises Limited in Hong Kong. So anyways, it's a cool deck. I found it at my local bookstore shop at the mall, and which I found the only other deck that I've bought there that I've seen that they've had was really an awesome find. So it's just like kind of cool how like you find things that you normally would not ever think about, but it's just there and you're there. So when in Rome, buy the I Ching Wisdom deck. Now, I have a weird random story that I just want to put in here for whatever reason. On my way to the mall that day, I'm driving, and all day that day I drove really, really slow. So just want to say that. And I was really taking in like all the sights, all the visuals, being not like cautious, but I just was moving at a slower pace that day. So I was taking like roads that I could do that. Well, down this one strip of Du Bois, I see a Biden-Harris sign in a sea of Trump signs, okay? So all you really see around here is Trump signs. And so it stuck out to me, one, because I was like, what the heck is that? that don't belong in these parts. And what I noticed about this sign, not just that it was out of place and was weird to see one, was how the font, or how they did Biden. I was noticing the E is 3 red lines without like a side line. You know what I mean? Have you seen one? And that really caught my attention. And I really thought to myself, why the fuck are they doing that like that? That's what I thought. I thought there's something about that. And I thought, well, I don't know. It just is artsy fartsy. Why are you being so weird, Sadie? And I kept on driving, putz along, and really didn't think much of it other than I felt like that was symbolic somehow to me, or it triggered me to question it. Because see, like, I'm like a little bit always looking how they manipulate people with symbols and symbology when people don't really realize it. And I love, and on top of that, I love marketing. I friggin' love marketing and making things look good and doing things a certain way and using certain colors, and like I do. I love stuff like that. So it caught my attention for whatever reason. Well, I didn't think anything about it other than that. Okay, so then I buy this deck, and that night I'm in my bed and I'm reading the book that comes with it, the I Ching Wisdom Guidebook. And so I'm like thinking to myself, how will I ever learn the 8 trigrams? A trigram is composed of 3 sets of parallel lines, broken for yin, solid for yang. Man, there's so much to this. And I'm thinking, I can't believe that like people memorize this. And so anyways, so I'm looking at the 8 trigrams, okay, which one means thunder, one means marsh, wind, mountain, moon, sun, earth, heaven. And I'm looking at them and I see 3 solid lines, just like they're using on the Biden campaign, his logo, just like they're using in his logo. And I'm like, there's the 3 lines again, right? And here it is the trigram symbol for heaven. And I thought to myself, interesting that they would do that. Now, I would say nobody, like we're talking less than 1% of whatever people even know about I Ching, okay? However, I just had to kind of laugh, because if I was smart in the world of things, which I am, I would use things that are ancestrally connected. So like, even though most people don't know the I Ching, this has been around since like 5000 BC, okay? Like, if you believe in ancestors and genetic memory and collective consciousness and things like that, you don't have to know about something for it to still have an effect on you. So I feel like when we use symbology from a long time ago, it speaks to a part of a person that they might not even be aware of, but it's still communicative. And I thought, how interesting for them to use the 3 lines, boop, 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 the parallel lines, unbroken lines for the letter E. And I'm not saying it pissed me off, but I am saying that it was manipulative in a way. It was creative in another way. It's genius in every way, you know, because whether it's for whatever reason, I think things like that are genius. But the thing is, I always hate whenever people are unknowingly being influenced with either like magical spells or sigils or symbology, and they don't realize it. Like, I don't like it when businesses is that are run by pedophiles use pedophile symbology and make them common, and people start to like them and they don't know what it even means, right? It's like people giving devil horns all the time at a concert, for example. Like, oh, it's just rock and roll. Really? Okay. Right? So they get people to participate in things without them even realizing it. So anyways, I'm just telling you, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying that I was driving my car really slow. I was really taken back by something in the logo of Biden, and within hours, I was shown that symbol in this book. Now, somebody could say, well, I love Joe Biden, and I think that it's 100% appropriate for him to have the trigram from the I Ching that represents heaven as his letter E. Okay, fine. You can feel that way. I just am feeling a little different way because I feel like that maybe it was done on purpose. Or I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just me being a weirdo. All right, anyways, regardless, if you see 3 lines on one of these cards that are unbroken parallel lines, that is the symbol, the trigram for heaven. And so a lot of them make sense when you look at them. Like Earth is 2 sets of broken lines, which I thought, well, I'll remember that because of duality and, 2 sides here on Earth. So that one makes sense to me. The sun fire one to me looks like how you paint lines on a road, and I was like, oh, burning rubber. All right, I'll remember that one as fire. And now some of the other ones, I don't know how the fuck I'm ever gonna remember them. But like the moon one, I thought to myself, well, that looks like maybe like a vehicle, like with wheels on the side. Like I was just trying to figure out how I'm ever gonna remember these. But the thing is, I don't have to remember the trigrams or the hexagrams, because this book will always tell me everything I need to know. And it's super user-friendly and cute and to the point. And I did a small reading for myself with it already once, and it was pretty accurate. And you can read the image, you can get the meaning of the card in a general way, or there's a third set of information for each card in the guidebook that is specifically about relationships in your life, or romantic relationship to be more exact. Anyways, it's a good little deck. Now, with that said, and that super tangent, whatever that was about me, but I'm just saying that I notice things that I don't understand why I freaking notice them. And then later on that night, information that's related to the random thing that I noticed earlier is like right in my face, and I'm not allowed to not see it. Like this is how people start to feel weird and alienated, I'm sure, because it's like, why do I think about lines? Why do I think about numbers? Why do I think about Joe Biden? Ain't nobody want to be thinking with Joe Biden or go riding with Biden. Hey, seriously, could you have picked a worse candidate? My Democratic Party. Could you have picked a worse candidate?
Stop being controversial.
My daughter says, stop being controversial. I know, because it's like half everybody's in 2 sides. However, I also want to say that I had a really interesting conversation with somebody at the bookstore, and he said he was going with the Libertarian Party lady. And I thought to myself, I am so out of the loop. I don't even know who you're talking about, because I haven't been following it at all. They were talking about the debate, and I thought it never even occurred to me to watch it. But I am just saying, I see how marketing uses manipulative things all the time, and I just think we should be aware of it. I do, because then you can make a choice on your own without being influenced. Okay, that's all. Now, why was I called to have you in my life? Is it more than the fact that with 20% off, you were $9 and whatever change, and I could afford you? Do I need to learn the I Ching? Like, why are you even here? I do like just nerding out and learning something new, but now I'm going to be quiet and let the deck talk to me for our last interview today for the I Ching Wisdom deck. Why was I called to have you in my life? Was it just so I could learn the I Ching symbol for heaven? And dislike politics even more than I already do? Okay, here we go. Why was I called to have you in my life? Why was I called to have you in... There's our card. And that's the other thing. The first time I shuffled this deck, a card shot out of it so fast into my filing cabinet that had I not glimpsed it for the split of a split second, I would have lost that card forever. Like this deck is swift and it's to the point, and it might almost maybe move too fast for me. All right, if I'm not paying attention. Okay. Why was I called to have you in my life? It gives me number 62, weakness. Okay, so my deck just called me weak. It's probably true. My deck just told me I was a sissy. Why was I called to have you in my life? I get number 62, weakness. So I'm just going to look up number 62 in the book here. And now this picture, the image is a boat carrying excess weight and passengers. The picture of little chaos and danger. Okay, this may have not translated into English for this English printing of this guidebook. The hexagram has yin constraining yang. The rightful leader is not in the seat of control. Oh my gosh. So why was I called to have you in my deck? Because I'm carrying excess weight and passengers? Because the rightful leader is not in the seat of control? That would make sense to me because my ego's been trying to butt in and drive, and I know that is not who should be at the steering wheel. Right? Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the steering wheel. Higher self, take the steering wheel. Now it says the meaning of this card is chaos and disharmony. So why was I called to have you in my life? Because it has been a little disharmonious in my life, in my inner life, and chaos in my mind. I get that. This card goes on to say, with inadequate leadership, important ventures are heading for failure. Your role is inextricably bound with the demands of preservation and restraint. All right. Now, if I was asking about a relationship, like if I was like, I wonder if so-and-so likes me, and I pulled this card, it would be telling me disharmony, any success will be short-lived. So, why was I called to have you in my life? Basically, I feel like this deck is saying because you were getting ready to capsize the entire boat, okay, you're carrying too much, too heavy load, too many passengers, you don't even have your higher self in the steering wheel right now. The disharmony inside yourself, you have not been enjoying it. It's been chaotic. You need to step in, allow the divine will to step into the leadership role, or you're going to be headed for failure because of all this disharmony. Any success will be short-lived. So that's why I was called into your life. And I do really feel like this deck has a lot to teach me. On the very first page of this guidebook, it says, the facts of nature are the basis of all knowledge. The facts of nature are the basis of all knowledge. And I think that is the Seven Sisters of the Pleiades constellation on this deck. So that was like another reason why I was like, dang girl, you got to get this deck. All right, let's get to know this deck some more. So it basically came into my life because I was showing weakness in my leadership. Let's just be honest here. It came into my life because I was showing weakness in my leadership, and the right person, the right aspect of myself was not at the steering wheel. I would agree to that. All right, so let's ask the deck though. Now I'm directing these questions at you, I Ching Wisdom deck. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? As a deck, as a tool of divination, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? And my finger, See, now there is 2 on the bottom that I am totally clipped on. I am totally clipped on these 2 on the bottom. Is that allowed? See, I didn't hardly allow 4 to come out that other deck. Are you really going to give me 2 cards? What are your strengths? Well, it came out with number 55 and number 12. So I'm thinking I know which one I want it to have been. Number 55 is abundance, and number 12 is standstill. So I feel like abundance will be its strength, but there's something about standstill. Number 12 and 55. All right, so what are your strengths? Number 55, abundance. This picture is an extravagant carnival put up to celebrate a good harvest. This hexagram stands for abundance and prosperity. So we'll be manifesting more prosperity Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Okay. You are enjoying the fruits of your hard work. Enjoy the wealth and prosperity. Yet on reaching the zenith of your success, be prepared for the next cycle, decline, or a return to the ordinary. So this abundance, it's like, what are your strengths? And it's saying definite success. So as a deck, it has definite success. Like it's going to give me what I want, maybe, or guidance. Now, the standstill card is a bridge that has collapsed and brought the journey of its travelers to a halt. Represents obstacles and stagnation. So what are your strengths? Abundance and standstill. Standstill could mean a deadlock, obstacles, or your frame of mind result in stagnation. Matters will not be resolved as hoped for. A parting or separation may occur. Incompatible, each having strong opinions about the other. These are your strengths. So I would say definite success is a strength. The strengths. Oh, it's going to give me lots of answers, maybe. But yet it came out with standstill. Whether that was it wanted to or not, it seemed like it wanted to. So the strengths of the card could be, it says having strong opinions. So maybe the strengths of this deck is it'll have strong opinions at times. Maybe it will break bridges at times. Another strength is it will party and have fun at times. But yeah, I would say like it's going to be honest and fun. All right, that's my go at it. All right, so anyways, what are your weaknesses then? All right, what are your weaknesses then? As a deck, as a divination tool, what are your weaknesses? Do you admit to having any? What are your weaknesses, I Ching? I Ching wisdom. Here we go. 1 in the hand. It says my weakness is bountiful. What are your weaknesses? It says bountiful. I get number 14. So I guess it's like saying like which I think I forgot to take the pictures of the Dreams of Gaia. I think I forgot to take the pictures of that deck and I put it away. Honest to God, Sadie, is this your first day at the Herb Oracle podcast? Bountiful, number 14. Okay, so these are farmers that are harvesting under a bright sun. It is the image of abundance and wealth. Abundance shines from above. You are now enjoying a time of wealth and good fortune. By firmly committing to your goals, great profit can be yours. Be aware of decline after this extremely good cycle, and the relationship forecast is success. So in a way, I feel like I asked the deck, what are your weaknesses? And it basically was saying, my only weakness is success. Like it really was just saying, like, I don't have any weaknesses. I'm abundant. I'm going to teach you how to be that. Now, I did get 2 back-to-back messages of decline after a good cycle or a standstill. So maybe in a way it's like, you got to have a little downtime too sometimes. But it kind of seems like funny. This deck feels funny to me. Because like I'm asking, what are your weaknesses? And it's showing me a bountiful harvest, which actually could, sometimes it'd be exhausting. Like even just picking some plantain yesterday, my lower back was like, oh, let's be done. And here these guys have a whole field to harvest where they're cutting off and bending over and squatting down. And so anyways, yeah, take it or leave it, I guess. It's like kind of just laughing at me, I feel like. Interesting. All right, what are you here to teach me? Definitely a sense of humor more. And I have a good sense of humor within myself when I'm the one making jokes. But now I'm kind of wondering, well, what is it going to be like if this deck starts making jokes? Or calling you out or making fun of you? Like, can you laugh too? Like, it's always fun to make the jokes, but like, can you take it? Can you take the jokes? All right, what are you here to teach me? I Ching Wisdom deck. What are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? That I can shuffle for a really long time. Off the bottom, humility. All right, so the deck is here to teach me humility, absolutely. To teach me a natural humility, like probably that we are all equal. And to laugh at myself. I was picking up that appropriate vibe, I think, from this deck. It's going to be a funny deck. And it's going to like maybe show me things about myself that in a nice joking way is how it's going to maybe crack me open. What are you here to teach me? Humility. All right, fine. My ego loves that. Oh, I'm so happy to hear this. So there's a man of high social rank in this picture asking advice from a commoner. Modesty and humility is the key to success. So the message and meaning is maintain humility and respect towards others. In this frame of mind, you may find the help you seek. Sincerity and respect is the path to happiness. Now, what I love about this is I bought this deck at the bookstore where I was simultaneously having a conversation with a woman that has, let's just say, led a hard and challenging life. And the ego could have looked at this woman as like, more lost than me, lesser than me, needs guidance from me. However, when I realized, that every situation is a reflection of myself, this woman was showing me how lost I had been feeling, right? And how, like, it was just so interesting that, like, we really need to never, ever, ever put ourselves on a pedestal. We shouldn't put ourselves under anyone either. Like, it is an equal playing field. That's what Spirit all the time wants to tell people, I feel like, is like everyone's equals. We're equals with the Ascended Masters. Yes, they're further along on the path, but they're still equals. And they want us to feel like that too. When I was at Ravens, a beautiful lady that I met in there, Noelle, I was just being a creep listening to a conversation that I was in earshot of, but she was talking about Ganesha, and I could tell that, like, in a way she felt less than Ganesha, and I just really felt like Ganesha wanted her to know that we are equals, in the eyes of Spirit, in the eyes of God. We just all come in different forms and have different journeys and experiences and perspectives that we hold here right now. But nonetheless, we need to have this natural humility that starts to not put anyone down and not put anyone above either. So that is what this deck is here to teach me as well. So you guys, I've just loved this so much. Thanks for hanging out with my 3 new decks and sitting in while I interview them. The tarot deck interview spread, a tarot spread by Cosmic Crow Tarot. This was fun. This was really fun. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoops, I almost didn't do an outro. Anyways, I had to go back, find the cards from the Dreams of Gaia. They were on the top waiting for me. So I was like, haha, hi guys, I need to take your picture. So anyways, thanks again for hanging out. Once again, that was the Tarot of the Secret Forest, Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and then the I Ching Wisdom Tarot deck. So anyways, really cool. I think this is a good practice to do with any new deck, or like I said, an older deck that you didn't really take time to get to know or ask or interview. So you don't know if you don't ask. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on Tuesday to do some tarot.